Hey, perfect spirit. I'm Sam, the Miracle Man. Now let's create that miracle, that transformation in your life right here, right now. The only thing between you and the miracle, or you and the transformation, is the head trash, the mental story, the beliefs, the opinions, all that stuff that's creating stress, worry, anxiety. It's all stems from the head trash. So we just need to let all that stuff go. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I talk about getting rid of this head trash. It's almost causing like a thought paralysis that we overthink things so we don't take those needed or necessary actions. So unsure where we're going today, but sometimes, there is nothing to say. Sometimes it's just being the witness to the experience. And that's how we can really help people as well. People are sharing a story with us. They want advice per se. Notice how we usually don't listen. We listen to respond, but we don't sit there and just listen and take it all in. Because if we're just reacting to their story, we're just sharing an opinion with an opinion with an opinion. It's just a head trash musical, if you will. It's not really helpful to share all these various opinions. And I know when I was in these depression support groups, multiple sclerosis support groups, I really didn't like it because it was really more of a complaint fest. What isn't working? And people would be just commiserating and going to those areas as opposed to saying, yeah, that's life, but we have to make the best of life, but just dive into the swamp, if you will, and it just keeps you stuck in the swamp. So the best way out of the swamp is to be present, to be fully here in this moment, and just realize it's the current human experience. But sometimes we don't need to say anything, but just listening is healing. Just allowing them to get rid of that excess energy and not giving weight to that, not giving it attention. Oh, that's happening to you. I feel sorry for you. And then attaching to all those labels. If they're, you might start feeling their pain, their suffering, if they got a label like I'm dealing with multiple sclerosis, and somebody comes back and say, "Oh, multiple sclerosis, I hear that's really bad." Think about what that does to your mindset. Or somebody says, "Oh, you have cancer." Oh, that's really bad. I heard so many horror stories about cancer. That adds to the head trash. But if somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I'm having all these issues," I'd be like, "Not a problem. I had multiple sclerosis as well, and I got through it. And this is the way you get through it." And the first step is to realize it's a label. It's not you. If they don't understand that they are consciousness, they are soul, they are spirit, then I'll just have them do this mental exercises. Imagine you have all these pictures in front of you. Look at all these different bodies. But where did you go? No place. You are the consciousness. You are the witness. But you were not all those bodies. Because all those bodies are constantly changing, but the real you has never changed. So just realize sometimes it's best not to say anything, especially when somebody is really sharing all their difficulties. Just listen to that. Then say something supportive at the end, not dive into the swamp with them, not get into the mud with them, but that's okay. You're alive. You can change the situation. It may seem really difficult, but you can change the situation. It's not your permanent reality. But unfortunately, this doesn't work. Some at times, people are really trapped in their stories. When I tell people they can beat MS, they don't have to deal with MS forever. They sort of look at me, like I have two heads because we're always programmed with all these stories. And that's what we're constantly being programmed with, all these stories about how bad something is. But the body is quite resilient. I talk about this a lot, if we listen to our own drummer, what is right for you isn't right for another. What is wrong for you isn't wrong for another. that life is a step-by-step journey of discovering what is best for us and not getting hung up on these labels. So simply ask yourself, what is best for you? And then when others share their stories, their difficulties, just remind them that they are alive, that things are not permanent, that they can be changed. And what is that one small action they can take to make that change? That the mind loves to overcomplicate things, but life is rather simple. I'm alive. What's my next step? Still breathing. What's my next step? And the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And just realize it's just a bunch of steps. But realize it's all going to be okay. That we get really hung up on these stories. But we just need to relax and see that story doesn't have to define me. Those beliefs, those opinions, this stress, this anxiety, these labels, they don't have to define you. If you allow them to define you, that's your choice. That's your responsibility. If you wish to carry that burden, but you don't have to carry the burden. You can let it go per se, but you let it go by being present into this moment. And that's all that's needed here in this moment. Don't even make things difficult. Just continue to relax. Realize sometimes you don't need to speak. Don't add to the misery, the pain. See if you can just shift focus, shift their attention to being alive or seeing the good in life. And that's one of the most frequent cards I pull in my readings is the goodness card of seeing the good in life and not getting hung up on the lack, the scarcity, because what you focus on expands. And just realize what you give attention to makes it stronger, gives it strength. But if you just let it be as it is, it can fade away. But if you're hanging on to it, it will never fade away. All right, that's it for today. Take good care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.